All right, we're going to get rocking and rolling here. Welcome, everybody, to our Minds Residence Life webinar for accepted students. My name is Luke Contreras. I'm one of the assistant directors here in the Office of Admissions. Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we discuss one of the more exciting opportunities that first-year students have at Minds, which is living on campus. Before we dive into the meat of today's webinar, just once again, congratulations on being accepted to Minds. That is a big deal, and I hope you all have taken some time to celebrate. And I am sure if you've heard good news from us, you've probably heard good news from a lot of schools. And we are still super excited that now we are almost approaching the month of April. You are still considering Minds as a potential university for you. It means a lot to us. It's something that we don't take for granted. And we're really excited to talk to you about living on campus and what that means for accepted students. So we have a packed webinar for you all. This is a webinar style. So if you do have any questions, you will be using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. What will happen is we'll have a couple welcomes from folks that are really important to our Minds community. And then we will have a presentation about residence life, and then we will open it up to you all for Q&A. Throughout the presentation, there will be Minds admissions staff and Minds residence life staff in the background answering your questions in the Q&A. So feel free to ask questions along the way. You might have your question answered during the presentation by one of our teammates, or undoubtedly when we do our open forum Q&A with our keynote speaker, we will undoubtedly get those questions answered then as well. But to kick it off, I want to introduce Jen Gagne, Executive Director of Admissions, to say some words before we get started. Jen?
Thanks, Luke. And once again, congratulations to everyone for being admitted to Colorado School of Mines. We are super excited to have you and tell you all about our great residence life options for you for next year. And I know if you've been with me for any other webinars or seen me talk, I know I shared that this can be a really stressful time for you. You know, you have a lot going on. I don't know if anyone is playing Senior Assassin right now or planning for prom, studying for AP exams or finals, but I wish you a calm and easy transition throughout the end of your senior year and into college. And remember that we're here for you. So thank you again for joining us as you learn information and get your questions answered. So I am thrilled to introduce you to Dr. Mary Elliott, our Executive Director of Residence Life and Auxiliary Services, and a good colleague and close friend of mine. And so she will let you know all about our offerings. And again, have a great time, ask questions, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Here you go, Mary.
My turn. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen, y'all, which always causes me anxiety. Also, now I need to look up Senior Assassins. So give me 1 sec while I get us going, and then we'll roll, okay? Okay. There we go. It should be on. Well, hi, I'm also thrilled to welcome you as well. My name is Mary Elliott. I use she, her pronouns. And like Jen said, I'm the Executive Director of Residence Life and Auxiliary Services here on campus. And I'm going to talk to you about residence life and living on campus. And this is kind of geared, I'm already going to tell you that I'm assuming you're coming to Minds. So I am so excited that you're here that I have to assume that. But for residence life, we always consider the work that we do to be really mission driven, and our goal is that our residents, which is our students, feel seen, feel safe, feel at home, that they're in a place where they can consider this their second home, and therefore they can feel relaxed and breathe in the residence halls. That's the goal for us, because you need to work real hard in your academic life, and we want to provide you a place where you can breathe to do that. So again, I'm going to join everybody else and just say we're thrilled. I'm assuming you're coming here, like I said, but we're really thrilled that Minds has been a choice for you, and can't wait to welcome you home here on campus. This is one of the residence halls. I'll have a few pictures in here, but this is Maple Hall, this picture. So really, I want to start with our commitment, and there are 15 professional staff members who work in residence life, and of all of us, we work every day to uphold these 5 pillars. So everything that we do is based in these 5 pillars. And this is also the lens to the experience we want you, our residents, to have by living with us. So everything that happens in the halls and everything that we do is based on these things. So you hopefully have an experience that also is foundational in terms of inclusion, respect, community, learning, and responsibility. These are the things that we the programming in your floor will be based on, the RAs will base their work around, and we, the professional staff, also base our work around. So that's nice. You're like, that's nice, lady, move on. So this is kind of the nitty gritty. And I always I lead with this because we're going to go through what you're going to do now, or what's important for you to remember now, what you can expect from living in our residence halls, and then what you're going to do kind of this summer, what will take place this summer. So right now, and this is a very full screen, this is one that says things to pay attention to in the coming weeks and the next few months as well. So I know this is being recorded. Also take a screenshot of this, or take your camera out and your phone out and take a picture of this slide. These numbers or these dates have been given to you on your checklist through admissions, and they're also ones that are on our website, but these are kind of the big deadlines or the big things that you want to pay attention to. We have broken the process for housing into three phases. And we feel like by following those 3 phases, you'll follow steps. And at the end of that time, you will be able to say, yep, I've accomplished everything. And I know where I'm living. I have all the information I need. So in order to do that, you will first, phase 1 is you'll complete an application. And you'll start this process. You can start this process as soon as next Monday, April 1st. And these are open. The housing application is open to you to apply through May 19th. You do not need to be like, I have to be the first one to apply. So anytime during this time frame, you are welcome to complete your application. There is no difference for the person who fills it out on April 1st to the person who fills it out on May 1st, right? Like, those are the same. You have that entire month, over a month and a half, to fill out the application. The application gives us important information like your emergency contacts. It gives us information about where you live, how old you are, those sorts of things. And it also sets up a roommate compatibility piece. This is totally outdated now, but it's like a dating app, right, for roommates. You'll fill out information, and then you'll be able to see, and other people will be able to see how compatible they are with you, if you are interested in looking for a roommate through our system. So I put the link there. I know you can't click on this, but if you're taking a picture of it, then you'll know where to find it. But those April 1st through May 19th, the only difference for that is our SLC, so our signature learning communities. Signature learning communities, I'll get into these in the next slide, but they're kind of special communities that are another added opportunity that you could take advantage of when you're living in our residence hall. So if you're interested in a signature learning community, those applications are due a little early. So then you need to apply by May 3rd at 3 p.m. Colorado time. So if you're interested in one of those, and I encourage all of you to explore those, they are really wonderful ways to kind of start your journey at Mines and in a community right away. So explore those, and if you're interested in one of them, apply by May 3rd, and that will then we'll be able to review those applications at that time. Phase 2 is roommate groups. So we do this after you have had an opportunity to apply, then take a deep breath from May 19th through May 31st. So the last part of May, that's when we're going to encourage you to reach out to folks who you share compatibility scores with. And it'll say, so we'll use Luke, my buddy Luke here, say, I'm looking for roommates, and Luke pops up and it says, we are 75% compatible, I might want to consider reaching out to Luke and saying, hey, it looks like we might have some things in common. Let's talk about the possibility of being roommates. So that's when you can do this. I will say you do not have to find a roommate through this system. You do not have to find a roommate at all. What a lot of people feel a lot of pressure around this, but please don't. Our goal for you is that you have options, right? So going in during this time, you can look for roommates. You can go into our system. A lot of students also find roommates through like Discord or other social media outlets. So that might be an option for you. And then also, you don't have to. If you're like, gosh, I filled out this compatibility thing, but I'll just roll the dice and whoever I become roommates with is who I become roommates with, and I don't want to put that much effort to it. That's great. You can do that too. Totally fine. Phase 3 happens from June 1st through June 30th. And this is when you will do your selection of your room, and you'll sign your housing contract with us. This is kind of when it gets real. So we will send you an email. It says check your email. There's a running theme through this about making sure you check your Minds email, because we will communicate with you solely through your Minds email account. So June 1st through 7th, we will send you your time slot. It'll say, Dear Mary Elliott, your time slot is June 13th at 10 a.m. is when it'll start. Now your time slot, that's when it starts, and it goes until the 30th. So you'll be able to go in anytime after that, and you'll see whatever rooms are available to you. And you'll go through our Trailhead app. The housing portal is where you do all your business to apply and to select your room. You'll go in, you'll choose your space at that time, and you'll be done. You'll be like, okay, this room in Weaver, that looks interesting to me. And I've picked a roommate. And if you've picked your roommate during that time, then you will both have the same time slot. So you don't have to worry about, gosh, I need to pick this room, and then my roommate is not coming on for 3 more days. If you've selected a roommate during that roommate selection time, you will both have the same time slot. So you can just be on the phone. I know no one calls each other anymore, or you can be texting back and forth or messaging each other back and forth and say, hey, I found this room in Weaver. Let's take that. And then you'll jump on together and pick your rooms. So that's how that will work. And then after that, you can kind of take a breath again and say, okay, I have my space. And then after that, what we'll be telling you, we will still be communicating with you throughout the summer. So make sure you're checking every once in a while your email. We will be sending you move-in information. We'll be sending you information about what to bring, what not to bring. All of that is also on our website too. So make sure you're kind of keeping up with our website. And then you'll get Canvas messages. You'll get a welcome letter from your RLC and your RAs. So just make sure you're kind of keeping track in there. I'll go into more detail about the after June 30th piece, but I wanted to give you a lot of detail in this one, because I know this is where most people are the most anxious about kind of what do I really need to do right now? So this is kind of what you need to be doing right now. So like I said, I'm going to go into some of those signature learning communities, and these are communities we're really proud of. All of them are kind of situated here. You have all their little logos. They are based in interests. So our theme learning communities are interest-based, like VPA is visual and performing arts. So we have a lot of students in VPA who were like in their high school musicals or in the band or really love to paint. Those folks live together in a community and they share those things in common. And then we have our Honors Explore community. So those are for students who are part of our First Year Honors programs. So you probably know that you're a part of those programs already. And if you are, then you can opt into this living learning community. So, you are not required to be a part of the living learning community, but you have the option to join it. And then the other two, we have a gender inclusive housing community and our First Scholars, which are for first generation students who are the first in their families to come to school. That's where you can live with other folks who are who share an identity with you or who share a passion around those identities. So those are the SLCs. Again, I really encourage you go, if you just like, if you don't want to go through the website, if you Google Signature Learning Experience Minds, like these will pop up and they each have a page. So you can learn more about each one of them and decide if that's something that you're interested in. Okay. So next I want to talk through what to expect about living on campus. And you'll hear there will be more webinars, there will be more information about this, but it's something I wanted to touch on for you. Again, just so you kind of know some of the things to expect. The first one, so this is kind of where we live. I almost asked for a show of hands, but many of you may have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And really where residence life lives, where our work lives the most, is the bottom two. And according to, this is a theory about like what the things we need that build on each other to make us able to show up at our best selves. And we all need to be fed, we need water, we need warmth, we need rest, we need a place to lay our heads, and we need safety and security. Those two things, if those are not met, the idea behind this is that other things are really hard to get to, right? So it is our job to make sure you have these things, that you feel safe and secure where you live, that you have what you need, you have the furniture you need, you have a bed, you have, those sorts of things. And those may seem easy, like easy to get, but that is a lot of work goes into giving these to our students. And this is our number one priority, is that you have these things as a student. Because if you don't feel, if something's wrong in your room, right? Say there's a water leak. Our facilities management staff is amazing, so you will not have this. But say something happens in your room. If you're handling that, it's really hard for you to focus on differential equations. So it's our job to make sure that you have these things in there and you never have to think about them. Then you're able to build friendships and meet people. You're able to like do well in your classes, and you're able to really feel like Minds is your place. So this is why living on campus is such a really wonderful and important part of your experience in your first year. So this is our residential learning model. I wanted to include this because these are the things, along with those 5 pillars, and you'll see the pillars are also reflected in these. But we know that so much learning takes place outside the classroom. We know that you will learn so much sitting in the hallway, talking to your floor mates at 3 o'clock in the morning about life and spirituality and what you believe and what you're learning. Those are where we have so many learning opportunities. And some of those will be the RAs will bring to you, and you'll have opportunities to go to programs and engage with those around these areas. But some of that just happens on its own. And that's what living in community with people who are also experiencing the same things that you are, that's where this really comes from. So these are the areas that we focus on helping you to learn, because you'll learn from each other. You'll meet people who come from very different backgrounds than you do. You'll meet people if you're from a city, you'll meet really rural folks from rural backgrounds. You'll meet people with different religious beliefs than you. You'll meet people from just different gender identities, and you'll learn from those folks, and you'll start to develop your own just ways of being around that. And that's the wonderful thing about college and the wonderful thing about learning that takes place outside the classroom. And that's why I do what I do and why our staff does what we do, because we know how much learning takes place outside the classroom, and we want to help you to really engage and learn as much as you can while you're here. So this is more. There are policies, obviously. There are policies in place. Those are in place for your safety and security. We have, if you Google the Residence Life Handbook, it's also on our website, you'll see, and every student who lives with us is responsible for knowing the handbook, but you'll see the things that are allowed, the things that you have responsibility for, the things that you need to pay attention to. Some of those are follow the law. That's important to follow. And some of those things are in place because we know there's safety and security reasons. So we have a policy: you cannot throw a ball in the residence halls. And people are like, why not? That seems dumb. Of course I could throw a Frisbee or a ball. Well, that is true until you hit one of the fire extinguisher, the water heads, and water comes out in the whole building and you set off the alarm and do hundreds of $1,000s worth of damage. So that's why those are in place, to keep you secure, to keep you safe, and to keep you from spending $25,000 on an insurance policy, right? You could be in a double, single, or triple room, and you'll have the choice. Like I said before, you'll pick your own room. We do have double, singles, or triples available. Doubles are what we have the most of. So those are where 2 people would live in a room together. We do have some triples. We do have some singles. Think about what's right for you. I will say that, again, the majority of you will be living in double rooms because that's what we have the most of. So just as you wrap your brain around that, just think through that. If you've never lived with someone before, start thinking, what would this mean for me? What are the things that I need to wrap my brain around to live with another person? This will be different than living at home. So think through, again, how can you prepare yourself, and families and support systems, how can you help prepare your student for some of those differences and for some of those transitions? Your space is mostly furnished, so you will have a bed. The list is on the website, again, of what you'll need. You have extra long twin mattresses. You'll have a bed, you'll have a desk, you'll have a chair. You absolutely can bring your own items. Students bring lots of things to make their spaces more comfortable or feel more at home. But please know that the furniture that is in your space will stay in your space. We don't have the opportunity to store things. So if you're hell-bent on bringing your gaming chair, which is great, you will just have a 3rd chair in your room if there are 2 of you. So just keep track of that and know that that's the case. There will be first 6 weeks of programming will feel like, whoa, there's a lot going on. That's intentional, and sometimes that can be overwhelming for a lot of people. My only advice that I always give is to come in with as open mind as you can and say yes to as much as you're able to. The more open and kind of curious you are about some of the things that are going on, I guarantee that will pay off. If you, like, life is showing up, right? And college is certainly about showing up and taking advantage of opportunities. So that's some of the things I encourage you to do. You're also going to be able to find things that you're interested in. And like, we have a D&D club, we have a knitting club, we have lots of sports and rec clubs. So those are just things. I hope that you're coming to campus, certainly thinking of your academics, but also knowing that you probably have things in your life that interest you now, and you want to keep those up. They're what make you you and what make you unique and why you were chosen to come here, frankly. So we want you to be able to keep those things and find new things that you might be interested too. So your RAs will help to connect you with things, but they'll also encourage you to do those things. My other advice is, this journey is going to be completely yours. Try to make it your own. I will say that I believe that comparing yourself to other folks is really a lot of the root of unhappiness. And I am really grateful I did not go to college in a time of social media, but your friends' social media your friends from high school social media will be full of these pictures of them doing all this cool stuff. And you'll be like, oh, wait, why aren't I doing those really cool things? And everybody puts a show on social media. So just know that your journey is magical and wonderful, and yes, can be hard at times, but you're up for the task. No one comes to Minds because they're like, I don't like a challenge, right? This place is challenging, and this place is really great with great students who are full of so many talents and interests. And we can't wait for you to come and engage in that. So try to really just focus on yourself and focus on your own journey. And that will pay off for you. I want to get a little into this, but these are things to expect in families. This is something that is somewhat typical. This is like This is a national or international kind of well-known W graph for us that we know how the year goes. Students come in right now, you're in the honeymoon phase, you're like, Mines, can't wait to be an ore digger. This is awesome. All through the summer, you're going to be building excitement. You're going to have a great first week where you go to ore digger camp and you get into your room and you're like meeting people every minute. The first day of classes is really exciting. And then you have some of those like, okay, I'm going to eat Mines Market every day for the rest of the year. And they have good food there and it's not home. And privacy is hard to come by, and distance of relationships, your friends are far away, your family's far away. It can be difficult. So you will have hard times. And I point this out, not to be like, get ready, you're going to have a hard time, but because it's important for you to have a realistic view about what to expect. So when it happens, you're not like, oh gosh, I'm the only one experiencing this. And then around winter break, you're going to be like, I totally do have this. I made it through. I got to make some adjustments. Like there are some things I want to do better, but I'm feeling good. And then midway through the semester, when you get back, you're going to be like, okay, this is hard again. I'm reminded this is hard again, and I can get through this, but this is hard again. I did this. I have the capacity to do this, and I've learned so much. And you will look back on that first year and realize just how much you have learned and how much you've changed. And that is something, so during all of this, families, your student will call you this walking out of a test, and they'll be like, I bombed that and this is terrible and everything is terrible. And then, but they'll forget to call you at their best moments. So this is one of those things, you'll just stay with them as through the ups and the downs. Okay, so before fall move-in, I mentioned before that at the end of June, you'll have your room, you'll have all that good stuff. Before you move in the fall, we'll send you information. Every floor, every first year community has a floor that you're a part of. Your floor and your building, your residence hall, will have a Canvas page. So Canvas is kind of how we deliver classes here at Mines. And the residence halls have a Canvas page. So you're also a part of that. It'll have programs, it'll have fun things, chats, that's good. But that's how we communicate with you about a lot of things that are going on in your residence hall. So accept your invitation for that. And then actively monitor your Mines email account. So it is important for you. Mines is an email heavy campus, and it's important for you to get into this habit now, checking your @Mines.edu email account so that you know what's going on and you're keeping up with everything that's going on. You will hear from us in early July about your move-in day. So and this is something, if you need to make plans early, plan for the whole weekend, but move-in days are August 10th or August 11th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. This is the first time we're doing it on a weekend. So if you are like, I have to make flights before early July, that's okay. But plan to be here the whole weekend. So that's just one of those things to just have in your mind. And then communicate with your roommate or roommates. Share your contact information. You'll be able to see their email address, their Mines email address. And that's how you can get in touch with them. Talk about what you're bringing, talk about the things you need or don't need, and talk through expectations. If you'll show you're compatible on things like when you go to bed, what temperature you like in the room, how social you want your room, and some of those things can change when you get here. Sometimes going to bed at 8 o'clock every night, and maybe that's something you do right now, maybe that's not realistic when you get here. So opening communication and lines of communication with your roommates early just creates an easier process for you later on. Share who you are with your roommate. What relationships, the best relationships are built on when we share parts of ourselves with each other. And so I encourage you to do that. I also encourage your roommate does not have to be your best friend. And sometimes that's hard to swallow. You will make friends here. If you make any effort at all, you will make some friends here. This is a place where people come and they really want to get to know each other. And even the upper class students who will like welcome you to campus are anxious to get to know you. But your roommate is a special relationship, and sometimes they're not your best friend, but they're a special relationship that you have to build skills around communication and saying, I'm not okay with this, and really letting each other know what you need. Also being really conscientious and thoughtful about that you share space, a living space with someone. So just think through that and make sure that that's something you can do early and often. And I encourage you to do that. It'll make your relationship a much better one throughout the year. Finally, move-in day. I touched on this before, August 10th and 11th, and you will go from one of those days, you'll go to Orediger Camp, which is great. What to expect? It is Colorado in August, so it'll be hot. Dress comfortably, wear tennis shoes. I encourage that. Bring water, those sorts of things, because you'll be running around. You'll move into your room, and that'll be relatively easy. But then you'll be running around campus and doing things like that. I also encourage you, if you are from outside of Colorado and you're not used to the elevation here, up your water intake the week before, and that'll be an easier transition for you too. We have a lot of volunteers who help unload your car. And we'll give you lots more information about that, but just know that it's our goal to make your move-in experience a really positive one and for it to be as easy on you as possible. That day is a big day in your life. All right. So we want to make it as seamless and as smooth as possible. And we work really hard to do that. So just know that you can be excited and we'll help you to make the best of that day. Most of the buildings have elevators in them, so that helps with getting stuff up and down. But honestly, upper class students will be unloading your car and helping you get that stuff up and down. So you probably don't have to worry about that. The only responsibilities you really have are to check your email. So you're ready to go on that day. You have to bring a photo ID so we know who you are. And trust me, I will send you emails about this, but you need to label your belongings. That's really it. It helps us get you up and into your buildings as fast as possible so you can start getting comfortable in your new space as fast as possible. And the only other thing, you'll receive a lot of information about this from our Nest office, and they'll do some webinars throughout the summer, but they will have hell of a welcome is what our Welcome to Minds is, and they will give you lots of instructions. So make sure you follow those on that day. All right, the first 6 weeks of the semester, you will have community meetings. Consider everything that a yes, right? Like show up, like I said, show up to as much as you can, but some of these things are required. We have community meetings so you know where to go in a fire alarm, things like that. You want to get to know your RA early, and you want them to know you and you want to know them and other members of your floor. That's an important piece of living together with a bunch of other people who are around your age. It's one of the coolest times of your life to live with people in this way. So get to know them and spend time in your residence hall getting to know people. You'll set community expectations. The RAs will ask you and you'll help to create that about what we want from each other. And you'll start to get involved on campus in different ways. Our community councils are fun groups who work in the residence halls, and it's a leadership opportunity that you can jump on the second you get here if you're interested in like putting on programs for your hall, those sorts of things. And then another thing that you'll do early on is you'll sit with your roommates and you will set expectations about how to share your room. You'll create a plan for communication, and your RA will meet with you about that. Your RAs will do one-on-ones with you, which is kind of a unique thing here at Minds. They want to get to know you as an individual, and it's important to us that you're known as an individual. So your RA will set up time with you in the first few weeks so that you both can get to know each other. That's one of the coolest things about having smaller floors and smaller communities is that people want to know you and they will get to know you. I want you to know that you are not climbing this little Mount Zion alone, right? You and your 10-pound rock will walk up here with 1,500 of your closest new friends. But through your whole journey in your first year, you are not doing any of that alone. We have so many resources on campus to help you accomplish your goals. And we want you to be successful here at Mines. We want you to have the best experience possible here at Mines. So that's what we're really here for. We're here to help you do that. We have a whole team dedicated to that, and we're here to support you. This last page just has our information on it, our website, and our email address. So housing@mines.edu is how you can reach out to ask us questions or get more information if you need that about anything. And we're happy to answer. We are always answering that email. So make sure to reach out if you need anything. But a lot of your questions can be answered on the website too. So make sure you're comfortable with that and check back on it every few weeks just to make sure you know what's going on. We continuously update it throughout this time. All right, Luke.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mary. Thank you so much for presenting to that. We've had a lot of great questions in the chat. Our teammates in the virtual space have been answering them, but I do have a few for you to kind of answer for the bigger group. Just to make sure everyone is aware, the housing application does open up on Monday, April 1st, for those that have committed to Colorado School of Mines. And so just to make sure there was any, just to clarify for that. So speaking that it's open the 1st for those who are committed. Mary, can you talk about what if a student needs all the way up until May 1st before they commit to Mines? Should they be nervous or worried about the housing application?
That's such a good question. No, please don't be nervous about that. We know that many students wait until May 1st. That's great. We want you to feel really good about your Mines decision. And that's why May 19th is that deadline. So please take as much time as you need. Again, you don't have to apply on April 1st to live with us, right? Like you have that whole window to apply. You might, if you're interested in an SLC and you know that you're gonna, take some time, that's okay. That's why it's May 3rd. So you would just, as soon as you apply, you would need to give it about 24 hours. So this is important for everybody. Our systems have to talk to each other, right? Software has to talk to each other. I don't know anything about technology, so that's how I say things. But if once you say, yep, Mines is the place for me and I'm excited to be there, and you make that deposit, that's awesome. That system will accept that deposit, and then that system overnight starts to send messages to other software systems around campus. So Luke, if you're like, May 1st is my date, you deposit on May 1st, you won't be able to go in on May 1st to complete that application. It will take a day, maybe two, depending, to be able to get that in. So just make sure you make time on May 3rd, if you're interested in an SLC, to make time that's the day that you'll fill it out. And keep trying, technology is my friend, and I have a like-hate relationship with technology, but keep trying. Just know that the day that you deposit, you'll have to wait a little bit of time before you can actually get into that system.
No, that's a great clarification. And, a lot of times we get asked, what's the best hall on campus? Do you have any advice on people that are considering that, or if that's a question in their head that's floating about which hall is the best one?
Oh my gosh, everybody always asks me this, and all of our halls are really unique, which I love about our halls. Like, they're not cookie cutter. And some of them are great for one type of student, and some of them would not be great for another type of student. Maple Hall, for example, is a lovely building, and it tends to be a really good hall for more introverted students because it's quieter. So that it's a little, and not to say that the other halls are like bouncing off the walls, but it can be a little less social than some of the other halls. For our traditional halls, I will tell you this, and no one ever believes me. But every year we assess our students. Every year we ask them, how's your experience been? What are the things that have been great? What are the things that have been hard? So we can constantly improve. And every year, our happiest students live in the traditional halls. And it's because there's something to the social aspect of having to brush your teeth next to someone who you live with. You get to know people in different ways than you do if you live in a suite and you share a bathroom with just a few folks. So, it depends on the student, right? It depends on what you want out of where you live, and it depends on just what's right for you. A lot of my more introverted students who want to push themselves, right? Who are like, gosh, it'd be nice to like have a built-in few people that I could just get to know automatically, because Weaver Towers might be a really good option for you because you have kind of built in a small community of suite mates that you share a common space in a bathroom with. So that might be a really good one to be like, I want to, I want to push myself, but living on a floor in Spruce Hall might be a little much for me. This might feel better. So, yeah, they're all great. I'm happy to talk to anybody about this. And every one of our halls has a page on the website. So explore them and think about them. But really, you will meet great people in all of them. You will have an experience that is great for you in all of them. For so many, your living experience is kind of what you make of it, right? Is how you engage. And if you're willing to step up and kind of push your comfort zone a little bit, that will help make your experience, no matter where you live, into the best one possible.
That's awesome. We work with a lot of current students here at Mines Admissions, and a lot of times they say the best residence hall was the one they lived in because they were with the right people at the right time. So
totally.
That's awesome. So if somebody does research the types of halls or researches the halls that we have here on campus, is there a part in the application where they can preference some of these residence halls in the phases that the housing application offers?
Yeah, we do ask for preferences in the application. Now, that might sound a little weird because you pick your own hall. But if something happens and you're like, gosh, I missed my window, or we for some reason have to manually give you a room, that gives us more information about what your desire is, so that we can place you in a room that you prefer if it's possible for us. It's not a guarantee. The preference just gives us more information. It's not a guarantee, but do think about it. You are allowed to make preferences. But for most of you, you will be picking your own room, and you'll be picking that room based on the availability of rooms that are available at the time that your time slot hits. And those time slots are based on when you what we call you enroll at Mines. So it's true that students who enrolled in October will have earlier time slots than students who enroll on May 1st. But we have always had lots of options still available for students who enroll on May 1st. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, where am I going to live if you're enrolling on May 1st? Many students enroll on May 1st, and that's great. They still have options, and they still have really good living experiences.
Absolutely. We've received a couple questions about decorating a room. What are the rules and opportunities to decorate and kind of make the living space feel like home or like the student?
Absolutely. So, the dimensions of the rooms, and there are interactive things, and the dimensions of all the furniture, those are on our website. So you can kind of see, okay, how big is the closet, those sorts of things, how big is the stressor. So that helps you kind of make informed decisions. You're not allowed to like drill or hammer anything into the wall, so please don't do that. But otherwise, we want you to make it unique, right? We have guidelines on what you can use to put on the wall. The blue painter's tape tends to work the best. We ask you not to use the Scotch things. My words are escaping me.
Like the pull tabs?
Yes, because you put them up, and then a year later when you're moving out, you forget how that works, and you pull it off and it takes the paint off, and then I have to charge you to paint that room. So blue painter's tape is your best friend. Bring a roll. That allows you to hang up photos and pictures. We want you to like make your room your own. You can also put use thumbtacks in the walls. I really don't mind those as long as you're not malicious with how you're using those, and but use those to put up things as well. We have students who put up sparkle lights. We have students who do lots of different things. I have absolutely seen there are several companies that Mines has never been, isn't really this, I don't know a lot of students who do this, but there are all these decorating companies who do like the University of Alabama school, like all these schools, right? Where students are like really decorating. I mean, if that's how you want to spend your money, that is awesome. But frankly, you want to be comfortable. You want to have enough of home to feel like I have a little bit of the comfort of home, and you will collect so much stuff here that at the end of the year, you're going to throw, like, think about what you bring, edit, like take the big pile of things you're going to bring and then be like, do I really need that? The answer is probably no. So yeah. Also,
No, that's awesome.
There's mail.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you touched on it. I think people tend to overpack
They do.
100%, and then you run out of space a little quickly, and sometimes
Yes.
it's good to be strategic.
Yep, absolutely.
This question might have been posed by a parent, but I think it's a great question to ask. What's the laundry situation like in the residence halls?
Yeah. Students, before you come here, do a crash course over the summer. If you do not do your own laundry, start doing your own laundry. Figure out how to separate whites from darks and things like that. But your laundry is part of your payments. Like, it's part of the room and board payment already. So laundry is free. You've already paid for it as part of your room payments. So and every building has laundry in them. So in your building we'll have laundry. Some of the laundry is located on your floor. Some of the laundry is located on a different level in the building, and you walk up and down and bring your laundry basket. So yeah, but you do have to do laundry. That's a number one. You do sheets. I send an email out a month into the school year that says, if you have not washed your sheets yet, you're behind. You have to do that. So just make sure, like, that's something that's part of being a good roommate, and be like not leaving your socks all over. So bring a receptacle to put them in. And yeah, but we make it really easy. We even have an app that you can put on your phone, so you can see when the laundry machines are available and when they're not, or when your laundry's done, so that you're not the person who leaves their laundry sitting for an hour and keeping everybody else from doing their laundry. So yeah, it works out pretty great.
Perfect. The next question I have, Mary, is what are the rules around microwaves, micro fridges, and appliances in the rooms? Yeah, so we certainly allow microwaves and mini fridges. We have on our website, you'll see the dimensions that we allow. They need to be a true small refrigerator, and they need to be there's a certain wattage. I think, like, there's no reason to bring like the industrial size microwave from your house. A small one will work great, and small refrigerator works great. That's also a conversation to have with your roommate. If you want to share that, then how are you going to share that? Those sorts of things. Otherwise, there is a list also on our website of things that are not allowed. Things with an open coil, like no, you can't bring a hot plate. You can't bring a toaster, like a toaster oven. Those things are not allowed. They're just more easily catch on fire. And you need to be really thoughtful that you live in a community with 200 and some other people, and you're responsible for keeping that community safe as much as anybody else is. And then some people ask me, they're like, what about a crock pot? What about this? And I think that's great, but I also think that goes back to the overpacking piece. There is nothing keeping you from, if you're like, gosh, I really love to crock pot. I am a slow cooker. And if you really want to do that, bring it. Also, if you're like, I get here, I'm not going to bring it, and then you miss it all first semester, you can bring it back from winter break.
Some people like a rice cooker. Rice is a really main staple for a lot of students in terms of what they eat. And if that's important to you, please bring something that works like that. That's fine. You just have to store it in your room. So more stuff you bring, more stuff you have to step over.
No, great point. And then most residence halls, if I'm correct, have some sort of like a common kitchen area that
Sure.
residents can use too, right?
We do. Every one of the communities has a kitchen. Some have more than one, and some just have one. So that's important for you to know in terms of, yes, most of our students use those for like baking cupcakes for someone's birthday sort of thing. They're not meant to be, everybody needs to have a meal plan because we don't have the ability to make that your main food source. Also, there are shared kitchens, so anything that is in them, we can't guarantee that there are no allergens or things like that. So it's truly a shared space. Each of the residence halls, the residents are expected to keep that clean so that everybody can use it. But yes, every one of them has a kitchen, everyone has a laundry room, every one of them have space where people can congregate and study together, those sorts of things. That exists in all of our halls.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've gotten a couple questions about safety. Do you want
Okay.
to touch on safety in the residence halls a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So so we have a system, a locking system in the halls, where every floor is locked and you do not have access to that floor, unless you live in that building. So if I live in Randall Hall, I can't just go over to Weaver and get up on someone's floor. So that's, your members of the community can, but even parents, you cannot get to your student unless your student comes and lets you in. We take security and safety very seriously, and your blaster card, this is why you have to send your picture in, so start thinking about that. Your blaster card is your access to get into your hall and get onto your floor. That's one of the safety measures. We do a lot of talking about not letting someone piggyback with you. We don't prop doors open. Those doors are fire doors, but they're also your access. So you need to be, like I said before, every one of us is responsible for our community's safety. So that's a huge piece of it. So we put measures into place to make sure everybody is safe, but also every one of our community members is also responsible for that safety. We do one of the first meeting that you'll have with your RA is about safety. It's specifically about safety, what to do in a fire, how to keep each other safe, those sorts of things. I will also say that our Mines Police Department is a full-fledged police department. They are police officers who care deeply about the work that they do on a college campus. They love knowing our students. It's important to them that they know the students. They sometimes will come and do rounds with our RAs in the evening. So it's not unusual for you to see a police officer playing video games in a common room with some of the students, because that's how they get to know each other. And it's important to us that that relationship is a strong one and that the students can rely on and know that those police officers are there for everyone's safety. We also, our RAs, there's an RA on duty every night in every community. At least one RA is on duty. So, and this is one of the first things we do is we'll say, get out your phone, here's the RA on call number, so that every student has that. We do not share it with parents because it is truly meant to be a student, like your student is an adult. And we have other numbers for parents, the police officer, the police for one, if there's an emergency. But those students, if they get locked out of their hall, if they get locked out of their room, please encourage your student to carry their key. But also, if there's something that comes up and there's an emergency, they can always call that RA on call number. That RA will come and help. If it's a bigger safety issue, that we have several layers of people who serve on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I'm included in that. So the RAs, the next person on call is the residence life coordinators, and those are the adults, they're professional staff members who live in every one of our communities. They have master's degrees in college students. They are there, that, you know, like that's what they do. And they live and work with your students. So they are also on call. We have a senior staff in residence life that are also on call. And then we have senior staff in student life. So our associate vice presidents are also on call. So we have this layered system to form a safety net under our students anytime there's something that they need help with.
That's awesome. We've got a couple questions about the Wi-Fi situation and wondering if it's because knowing that some folks might bring a lot of Wi-Fi enabled devices or anything like that. How would you describe the Wi-Fi? Do people need to bring routers? What's your advice on that or insight on that?
I wish I knew more about this, but I don't think you're allowed to bring routers. That's not a thing. We have a really robust Wi-Fi network that our IT department consistently upgrades and consistently checks the bandwidth of. We do not allow you to bring a Wi-Fi printer. You can't bring a Wi-Fi printer. Your printer, if you're bringing one, and every student has access to the printers all over campus and an account where they can print from. So a printer is nice maybe, but most of the things, most of your assignments will be all electronically submitted. So most people do not need a printer. But if you have to bring a printer, it needs to be a wired one, because that pulls bandwidth like crazy. Also, students aren't allowed to have things like, I just lost the word for it, but you know, the things that make things.
3D printers?
Yes, thank you. I'm like, what? The thing? Yes, 3D printer. You can't have one of those. There are several all across campus. The students are welcome to use, but you can't bring one of those. It just sucks the Wi-Fi away from everybody else. So yeah, there are certain things that we don't allow because of that, but mostly the Wi-Fi is really reliable and the students generally use it all the time. In the residence halls, every residence hall is wired. So because so many of our students are gamers, please bring the wire. You can wire manually attached to anything in your room so that runs faster, so you're not on the Wi-Fi. So if you are a big computer gamer and that's your jam, that's great. We know that about you. That's why everything in the halls is also wired.
I appreciate that. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for awesome questions. Mary, thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening to hang out with us. We are quickly approaching the top of the hour, and I want to be respectful to all y'all's times for those who logged in, as well as our team's time. Once again, living on campus is an awesome opportunity, but truly take the time you need to pick your university. Do not worry about the residence hall situation until you are ready to commit. There will be plenty of space once you get here. If you have committed before the 1st of April, you can start the housing application on Monday, April 1st. And then if you need the time up until May 1 to pick that university for you, please do that. I'm sure Mary and all of our team here at Minds could talk about how cool it was to pick their university and how much that meant to them. And we want you all to take the time to find the right school for you. Now, there's going to be a lot of information sent to you in the next little bit. And my biggest piece of advice is to make sure you're checking that email. I know Mary touched on it a couple times, but we don't slide into DMs here at Minds. We slide into your emails. And so we definitely want to make sure that you check and read your emails. I know that there's a lot of information you're considering. Plus, you're in prom season and celebration season. So enjoy the rest of your senior year as well in high school. If you have any other questions, you can always reach out to Minds Admissions at admissions@minds.edu, as well as Minds Residence Life at housing@minds.edu. Most of all, everybody, thank you so much for logging in. This will be available on the Minds Admissions YouTube page within 72 hours for those who want to rewatch today's webinar. But please ask us questions later after you log off tonight, because we love to be resources for all of you. Once again, congrats on being accepted to Minds. We hope to welcome you to our community in August. And have a great night, everybody, and go Ore Diggers. Good night, everybody.
Bye, y'all.